Hello, my good friends and poppets. I'm Starya Starcorn, and I'm joined today by the Lorax. The Lorax, welcome to Starya and Friends. Today we're going to have what is called a Fireside Chat. You'll notice the fireplace that is located directly behind us. Fireside Chats were invented by former President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Just a little presidential history for all of you presidential history enthusiasts out there.
I'm so excited to be here. The fire adds a cozy touch. These Oregon springs can sometimes be quite chilly.
I'm glad you appreciate it. Mel worked really hard on it. Can I ask our studio audience to give Mel a big round of applause? So, the Lorax, today you wanted to talk to us about the importance of reading in the summer.
That's true, Starya. You see, during the school year most kids are expected by their teachers to read. This can sometimes mean that they are expected to read actual books. And it can also sometimes include an expectation to read on reading modules like iReady and Rocket Reading. The problem with this expectation, though, is that a lot of the time when kids read the books their teachers expect them to read, they don't connect with them because they didn't get to choose them. Choice is so important when it comes to connecting with literature and with programs like iReady. Kids are expected to read short texts and then answer questions about the text. That's not really practice for what most adults would consider actually reading. It's more of what I would call test prep. But in the summer, kids usually get to choose their own books and only read what they want to read. That means if they want to read about baseball players, they can read about baseball players, and if they want to read historical fiction, they can read historical fiction.
I know. My passion is basket weaving, but it never came up in my school curriculum.
No, because a lot of the time educators forget that kids have their own interests that don't necessarily align with what the powers that be have deemed important to learn. That's why I believe that kids should read in the summer. It's the best opportunity that they'll have to get to read what they want, where they want, how they want, and maybe by having the chance and taking it, they finally realize how much fun it is to read and then make the choice to do it of their own accord during the school year.
I can tell that you are wise, and I would like to subscribe to your podcast.
Available wherever I subscribe to my podcasts.
All right. Well, I think we have time for a few questions from our studio audience.
What percentage of students choose to never read a book over the summer, and how would you say this affects their summer fun?
Some statistics put the number of kids in elementary school who don't read over the summer at nearly 50%. That means that there are an awful lot of kids on long car rides with nothing to do except stare out the window. And I just think that's really sad.
Do we have another question?
How much fun is it to sit under a tree on a warm summer's day, gentle breeze cooling your skin, with your favorite book in your hand, with not a care in the world except when the next book in the series is coming out?
That's a really good question. There's no scientific consensus on exactly how fun it is to sit under a tree on a warm summer's day, etc., but most experts would agree that it's pretty darn fun. And one thing almost everyone agrees on is that you never have the kind of time to have that kind of fun after you grow up.
I think we have time for one more question, which, coincidentally, is the number of guests we have left in our studio audience.
I spend a lot of my time in the 100-acre woods, supervising my son Rue while he plays in the sandpit. My question is, if Rue were to be kidnapped and replaced by a piglet, and I mistook the piglet for my Rue and decided to give it a bath, and then Rue was returned later in the day and Rabbit and Pooh said, "Aha!" and the whole mess got sorted out, would it be a good idea to spend some time afterwards enjoying a lovely book together?
Absolutely. Spending part of your summer reading with loved ones is about as fun as it gets. And if you're a kid who is trying to get one of your grown-ups to read with you but they say they're too busy, remind them that reading is good for you, at least as good as eating your vegetables. which they're always pressuring you to do. And since you skipped out on eating your carrots last night, you can make up for it by reading together.
That's good advice. Well, the Lorax, I can't thank you enough for stopping by to visit. I'd love to offer you some hot cocoa or a s'mores or something, but Mel says it isn't in our budget. So I'm going to have to ask you to leave now.
Thank you so much for having me. And don't worry about the s'mores because I had somewhere else to be anyway.